Not a single Republican showed up to the House of Representatives deposition today of Les Wexner in Ohio. He was the main benefactor, the main money supplier of Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee conducted this deposition of Wexner today in Ohio. Not a single Republican Congress member showed up. They have completely abandoned even the pretext of conducting further oversight and investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. They were ordered by Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, do not show up, do not be there at all. Don't even lend your presence to this deposition. Now, a lot of bombshells at this deposition. Les Wexner, who's now 88 years old, admitted essentially that he had given Jeffrey Epstein about $1 billion over the course of his lifetime. He tried to frame it as he was duped by Epstein and Epstein was a con artist, but then Wexner admitted in his deposition that he believed he was in rooms with Donald Trump and Epstein at potentially beauty pageants and Victoria's Secret shows, that he was at the island. And then when it came to critical details about girls and what was going down at the island, what was happening in these meetings with Epstein and Trump and others, he just conveniently did not recall. As Joe Khalil explains, Les Wexner said under oath that neither the FBI nor the DOJ even ever sought to question him regarding Epstein, per the Democrats who sat in. So no questions by the DOJ when several Epstein victims publicly have alleged Wexner's involvement, and FBI documents list Wexner as an Epstein co-conspirator. Folks, the cover-up gets worse. Let me show you what Democratic Congress member Min said when he announced after the deposition that not one Republican Congress member showed up for this deposition of Les Wexner today. Let's play this clip.
It is very frustrating the fact that there are no Republicans here today. I wish there were Republicans, because sex trafficking should not be a D versus R issue. It should be a bipartisan issue. Everybody should be invested in finding the truth right now. And the fact that we've had so little cooperation from the Republicans on the House Oversight Committee, that the DOJ has actively tried to obstruct this investigation, that is shameful, and it will go down as a permanent mark on the records of people like Pam Bondi and Donald Trump.
Next, here's what Democratic Congress member and the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee for the Democrats had to say following this deposition. Here's what he wrote. Today's deposition made one thing clear. There would be no Epstein, no island, no planes, no money to traffic girls without the financial assistance of Les Wexner. We are committed to ending this White House cover-up, which protects criminals and billionaire benefactors. $1 billion from Wexner, essentially, to Epstein, and apparently the MAGA Republicans don't care about this. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about the survivors. Here, play this clip.
It's about $1 billion that was either transferred, provided in stocks, or given directly to Mr. Epstein by Wexner. We should be very clear that the two were very close per reporting. They spent a lot of time together. Mr. Wexner admitted that he traveled to both Epstein's island as well as his other properties. Mr. Wexner also admitted that Jeffrey Epstein had access to a lot of Mr. Wexner's wealth. And when asked even simple questions, even as it relates to Mr. Epstein being the co-president of the foundation that established the area that we're in today, Mr. Wexner had little to say. In fact, it's clear that Mr. Wexner is trying to downplay how close Jeffrey Epstein and Mr. Wexner actually were. And we should be very clear that there would be no Epstein Island, there'd be no Epstein plane, there'd be no money to traffic women and girls. Mr. Epstein would not be the wealthy man he was without the support of Les Wexner. I think it's very important for us to note at this moment.
Now, while that was taking place, what was Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans doing? Well, Donald Trump held a press conference literally at the same time. The split screen is so revealing. And Donald Trump said, and this is a quote, that he's going to force himself upon blue states and blue cities. He goes, I will force myself upon you, whether you like it or not. If I think that your state or city is too dangerous, I will force myself upon you, is what he said. Here, play this clip.
Thousands and thousands of lives in many cities. And frankly, if these radical left lunatic Democrats would come and say, please help us, please, would stop crimes all over the place. And we're doing it in a lot of cities. Sometimes we have to force ourselves upon them because they're so bad. And I don't even think they realize what's happening to their cities. And
now going back to Ohio, where this deposition of Wexner took place, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett had the following to say.
Is that there were always young girls seemingly looking for an opportunity to model, and there were always rich and powerful people on the other side, dangling a carrot, saying, I will give you the life that you're seeking. Yet ultimately, the stories are the same. They're stories of abuse. They're stories of trafficking at the highest level. And I will tell you one thing that was remembered for sure was when asked about Donald Trump and Epstein and whether or not they had been in the same room and what that looked like. He didn't quite remember, but he imagined that, yes, that possibly happened, because he did remember that Donald Trump also would like to show up to the Victoria's Secret runway shows. Now, that was a little odd to him, he said, because Donald Trump was not engaged in fashion whatsoever.
Now again, using our split screen right here, here's what Donald Trump was saying at his press conference. I love Nicki Minaj. Her skin is so beautiful. I asked her, are your nails real? Do you see what's happening? While Trump and MAGA were not at Les Wexner, he's out there talking about forcing himself onto people and how beautiful Nicki Minaj's skin is. How utterly disgusting. Here, play this clip.
I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that.
Now, again, split screen. Here's what Democratic Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari was saying after the deposition. She actually showed up to do this deposition. Here, play this clip.
Over the course of the last year, the American public has been witnessing what I can only call the most egregious cover-up in American history. And today was a critical part of our investigation to try to end this cover-up once and for all. We have met with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the rich and powerful people that helped to perpetuate these crimes. And we have heard over and over from these victims the name of Les Wexner and the importance of following the money. Because the story of Jeffrey Epstein is one that can almost, almost is the plot of a movie that is turned into a nightmare. And the real reason Jeffrey Epstein was able to get away with raping and abusing children, young women, boys, young men for so many years was because of the vast amounts of money that he was able to acquire. And that largely came from Les Wexner here in Ohio. So we're here to ask Les Wexner the critical questions. And it's been very interesting to see the types of responses that he's giving and his demeanor throughout the interview. He claims to want to provide information and to be helpful in the investigation, but then quickly follows up by saying that he does not recall details around a relationship with somebody that he had for decades. Les Wexner handed his power of attorney to Jeffrey Epstein. He allowed Jeffrey Epstein to live in his homes, to have hundreds of millions of his dollars, to use his yachts and his planes. This was obviously a very, very close relationship. And so far, what we have seen is a denial of that relationship. Another important theme that has come up today is that Les Wexner is actually tied to other sex trafficking and child abuse scandals here in Ohio, around the country. There are reports of payments that were made to a gynecologist at Ohio State University. And that money went through Jeffrey Epstein, but came from Les Wexner. And he has been asked about this with no real response, no recollection. And again, as my colleagues have said, I don't think it is feasible or understandable or conceivable that any individual would not have an understanding of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of their own money and can't answer to those questions. So it is clear that this